information on it. So you need to know your notation, right? So 279, it says triangle fun. Notice that triangle is sometimes there's this symbol in front of it. So it just means that the three corners of the triangle will have the letters F, U, and N, right? Has the following dimensions. Angle F, maybe let's put that angle symbol in there. Angle F, angle N is 36. Side U, if it's lowercase, it's a side, right? It's 37.42 inches. Draw a diagram, then solve the triangle. So basically, when you have one of these folks, just draw a triangle that looks like this. I kind of make it asymmetrical, meaning one side is a little, it's kind of off-centered, but you don't have to. I'm not going to make you draw it to scale. And then start in any corner you like with the first letter. So F is the first letter. So I'm going to start here on this corner. So this top one here is U, and this is N. I go clockwise. Guess what? If you go counterclockwise, you'll still be okay. So just start in a corner and just follow the order of the letters. Okay? So we have our corners labeled. You grab angle F is 42 degrees, so you just write the 42 degrees into that corner. N is 36 degrees. We plop that into this corner. U is lowercase, so that's a side length. That'll be across angle U. Okay. So side U is here. So side F is over here, lowercase. Side N, lowercase n, is going to be over here, always across the angle. Okay. That's always implied, that's always there. So solving the triangle, what does that mean again? Solve all sides and all angles. That's basically what they're saying. Find everything you know about that triangle. Okay. Question. Is this an SSS or an SAS? Like those are the only two you can use cosine law with. Would this meet the criteria? The answer is no. This is not the SAS, right? You need an angle in between two sides, but you actually have angle, side, angle. You've got two angles here. So when you have two angles, your first step should be, hey, let's find that third angle, and then I'll have a pair. Got it? So we'll do this. Angle U is going to be 180 minus 42 degrees minus 36 degrees. And that is 102. 102 degrees. I will circle this because I'm solving the triangle, so that would definitely be part of my work required to solve this thing. So I'm going to grab a different color and just write in the 102 here. Okay, because I found that. Now have a pair. Now have a pair. Sine law. Okay. Now you've created it, so it's a hidden pair. Okay. So use sine law. So I'm going to actually go arrow up, telling you that I continue over here. So I'm going to go sine of 102 degrees over 37.42 inches is equal to, now you just have to be careful with notation because it doesn't really matter which one you solve for first. But if I use sine of 42, what letter will go down here other than Joey? Joey answers quite often. What letter will go underneath it? If you're using sine of 42. If I'm putting this angle down, then I will have side F under here, right? Okay, so just making sure, because it basically feels like a Monday morning. And we haven't done sine law in a while. So there it is. Because these are across each other, right? So then it's cross multiply and divide. So it's 37.42 times sine of 42 degrees divided by sine of 102. Please show that step, okay? Do not just put equals next to the setup and put the answer, because that's wrong, okay? 37.42 times sine, watch the sine, right? It's not cosine, divided by sine of 102, and that's 25.598, so that would round to 60, and we are in inches. There you go, there's your side length. So we've got that third angle, we've found F, now we have to find side N. And I'm going to use my red pen and write this side in here, 25.60. Question. Looking at it from N right here, do I have an SAS? Is there a side angle side? And the answer is yes, right? So you could technically use cosine law to find side N at this moment. But I'm going to stick with sine law. Okay? So I'm going to cut this off here. I'm going to start with a pair I already know. And in this case, I'm going to use sine of 36 to find side N. Okay? And then it's cross multiply and divide. It's 22.486. So that would round to 49 inches. And you've solved it. Okay, you found the other three components. You need to have three. The only triangle you cannot solve, listen carefully because they may or may not quiz you or test you on this, is triple A, right? AAA, angle, angle, angle. Cannot solve that triangle. You can do three sides, but you cannot do three angles, okay? And somewhere in your notes, I will have told you that, okay? All right. So I wanted to warm up a little bit, and then what time are we at? So I'll do one of these examples down here, and then I'll ask you to do a few questions by yourselves. Okay. So let's go down to question 4. I believe I already asked you to solve those anyways, but I will at least do one of them, and I will mix it up a little bit, sine law, cosine law. So be ready for that. Okay. So here we go. All sides, all angles, I'm asking you, solve each triangle. Whenever you have, this is an SSS, we will use cosine law. First of all, I will start with the largest angle. Start with largest angle. Okay. whenever you're trying to solve, and I will not explain to you why, because that's actually a whole nother unit almost. There's an issue if you don't do that that you could potentially run into, and I don't want you to run into that problem. Okay. So we're gonna find angle x first. Okay. So we're gonna start like this. Cosine of angle x is going to be the first side you write on this side is the side across from it, which is 12.3 squared. Okay? And then you take the other two, 5.1 squared and 8.2 squared, and just tack. Oops, sorry. No plus here, folks. It's very important. That is probably the most important component. There's a subtract, right? This one is across from that angle, right? And then underneath it's just 5.1 times 8.2. And you can now compute that. 5.1 squared. So here's where you need to make sure you know how to use your calculator properly, and you get a negative. Very important to us. 2 times 5.1 times 8.2, that's 83.64. And when I give you some time to work on these later on, please do them, because as I walk around, I often see students making small mistakes, but they make a big difference in your final answer. And this is where you're going to learn to not make them anymore. And so now, when it's like this, you know your answer will be negative, okay? So right away, you take that negative with you, and it's 58.04 divided by 83.64, and it's negative 0.6939, and that keeps going. What do I know if it's a negative? What's my angle going to be? Bigger than 90, right? It's going to be obtuse. Okay. So angle x is going to be cosine inverse of negative 0.6939. I can guarantee you that the test will have something on this. And I have a problem right now on my calculator. I don't have a negative. So I'm just going to go times -1 and convert that into a negative. And now I'm going to take the inverse, and it's 133.94. 133.94 degrees. Okay. Very important to me. And I'm going to grab my pen or something, a different color so it sticks out. And I'm going to write down 133.94 here. Like letting me know that if I go back on my notes, it's like, okay, that definitely was solved right here. I have a pair. So I'm going to go up to save space. Now have a pair. Can use sine law. I want you to have a mixture because I want you to be able to do both. Okay. So we're going to go sine of 133.94 over 12.3. If you use cosine law again, and if you did this already and use cosine law for everything, that's okay. Your answer might be slightly off, but I will not take off marks for that. Okay. And then let's say you want to find angle y. Sine of y is over here, so you got to make sure that that side length is under, right? That's kilometers. Cross multiply and divide, so sine of y is 8.2 times sine of 133.94 divided by 12.3. Sine of y is, let's figure out what that is. I think I showed you this, right? I think in your notes I did this. Angle y is sine inverse, and then we just entered that value. That's 0.4800, and that keeps going. So angle y is just inverse sine, not cosine, inverse sine. Okay, 28.69 degrees. Solve that. And I still have angle z that is unknown to me. So I'll do this, watch this, arrow up. Angle z is going to be 180 minus 133.94 minus 28.69. Sorry, it's really hard to see. I apologize for that. But you know, you have those numbers there, so it's, as long as it looks like it, you should be fine. At 1737, I'm going to circle that as well. So all three angles are found right there. Okay. I need you to practice, so why don't you try the one right underneath it just now. See if you could do it. Your choice. You want to use cosine law all throughout? You want to use sine law, right? It's up to you. You have to start with cosine law, by the way, because it's an SSS, right? But after that, you can do whatever. So go for it. So do this one, right? I'm going to put a sticky on there for now. Work on B plus page 280. And you have a bunch, 280 is word problem, so you're going to have to think what happens there, okay? And